What's up gamers, this is Paw and this is my super quick guide for the new extreme Sphene's Burden. This guide took me a bit longer to make because there are so many strats in PF, it's crazy. So I wanted to test the most popular ones and these are the ones that I found most people doing in PF, so here we go. The only thing you will need for this fight is 2 light parties, both of them having a tank, a healer and 2 DPS. The first mechanic is Aethertithe. The boss will suck the arena in a conal shape from the left, right or middle. She will do this 3 times, once from every direction. After each suck there will be 2 healer stacks, so you just dodge these and stack with your light party. During this the floor also does damage. She will cast Virtual Shift doing heavy damage and will put you into the wind arena. The boss will cast Laws of Wind. Both healers will get a stack marker, so you need to stack with your light party. Group 1 goes northwest, group 2 goes southeast. These stacks also give every single player a brown right knockback debuff or a green left knockback debuff, and will create those green tornadoes you need to avoid for the rest of the phase. After this, everybody should stack in the middle because all DPS will be chained to a support. The goal is to break the chains. We stand in the middle and when the chain appears on the debuff bar, DPS run northeast, support run southwest to the corner. That is very important. During this, the boss will also cast Legitimate Force. Her hands will start glowing in a random order, indicating that both the left and the right side will be cleaved after one another. You break the chain in the corners, dodge the first cleave, dodge the second cleave, and then go to the side where you are getting knocked back from, indicated by your debuff and the little green arrow on your side. The boss will then end the phase with a World Shatter AoE and start casting Prosecution of 4, which is a tank buster. Next up, she will cast Divide and Conquer. TLDR, people have to fan spread around the boss's hitbox, leaving a little space between 2 players. All 8 players will get hit by a laser one by one, and then they need to step to the empty space between them and the other player, because the boss will hit the same position again where people got hit at once all 8 players got hit. She will cast a Royal Domain AoE, then she will cast Virtual Shift again and will put you into the Gravity Arena. Players will be flung into the air and will land on a random platform. All you have to do here is to touch that middle purple pillar to start floating. Then you go into the middle because she will cast Legitimate Force and will cleave both sides of the arena. During this cast, 4 geysers will appear on both platforms. All of these will have to be soaked by players. You can miss one and survive, but if you miss 2, that's a death there. So you have to dodge both side cleaves, then pop sprint if you want, go onto your platform, touch the middle purple pillar to on-float because you can only soak a geyser if you are not floating. Then you go into your soak position. After this, 2 geysers will appear on each platform, again one at the front and one at the back, and the boss will start casting Gravitational Empire. 1 person on each side will be tethered to the boss, which tether cannot be taken from them. 1 person on each side will get a huge AoE marker around them, and 2 people on each side will get nothing. Tethers go to the north wall on the sides of the boss. The 2 giant AoE markers go to the east-west wall max melee. The 2 non-marked players will have to soak the geysers. DPS soaks the north geyser, support soaks the south geyser. If there are 2 DPS and 2 support on one platform, then melee's tanks soak the north geyser, ranged healers soak the south geyser. Make sure that if you're soaking a geyser, you're leaning towards the middle to not get clipped by the giant AoE on the side and by the cone coming from the tether people. If you are dealing with the tether and the giant AoE outside, make sure you do not leave this outside square, otherwise you will fall and die. Then comes meteors. All 8 players will be marked with the meteor marker twice. All you have to do here is to drop 4 meteors on each platform. Once you see the meteor marker above your head, start floating if you're not floating already, and what I recommend is to drop the first 4 on the platform and the second 4 off the platform. The most popular strats here are the L shape and the box shape, but there's also the cock shape and the line shape. Once the second set has been dealt with, the boss will cast Weighty Blow. She will have 4 lasers on each side that will target random players. The goal here is to hide behind the meteors with your light party to explode them with the lasers. For the L shape, you want to start at the tank meteor and go down on the L shape. The idea is the same for the cock shape and for the line shape. For the box shape, you want to start at one of the back meteors, and once the one you're standing behind exploded, you move to the other back one. Because this mechanic is so jank, if you are not hugging the meteor properly, the laser will hit a player and kill them instead of the meteor being blown up. If a single meteor survives, it will explode at the end of the phase and you will just wipe. Next up, the boss will be casting a World Shatter AoE into a Prosecution of 4 tank buster. After this comes Coronation. This is a super simple mechanic. 4 giant laser beams will appear on the platform and will tether to 2 players. Players will need to identify where they are tethered to and can go to that side of the arena and also spread on the right or on the left of the laser based on where they are tethered to, because everybody will get a giant AoE around them. You can use this diagram for reference. Usually Party Finder will use markers for this, but even if they don't, just follow the diagram. If your position for this is directly on the sides on B or D, you can just spread max melee and get full uptime. Next up is Absolute Authority. Everybody goes to the northwest corner to stack together, and at the end of the cast you start moving to the northeast corner, dropping 4 puddles. After this a bunch of stuff will happen, but you can ignore all that, just use heavy mitts and stay stacked together. At the very end everybody will get the little red stacky markers, so make sure that you stay stacked. Then she will do a knockback, which you can knockback resist, and then she will cast Virtual Shift, doing heavy AoE and put you into the ice arena. The boss will start casting Laws of Ice, so you just have to keep moving to not get frozen. After this, 2 sets of 4 icicles will appear and tether to the DPS and the support. The first 4 will appear at the back and tether to the DPS or the support. The second 4 will appear on the sides east-west and tether to the other role. People will need to stretch that tether and turn it purple, otherwise they will get knocked off the platform. This is done based on this diagram. You just have to see which ice you're tethered to, and based on that you take a certain bridge to cross to the other platform. If more than one person steps on the bridge at the same time, it will break and both of you will probably die. After the icicles have been resolved, the boss will cast Legitimate Force, leaving both sides of the arena in a random order. To safely dodge this, everybody needs to go back to the middle, utilizing the bridges again. People who stretch their tethers east-west have the prio to take the bridges backwards first, and people who stretch their tethers far go after them. But honestly, just use your eyes. And be fast, because the cleaves happen sooner than you think. Dodge the 2 cleaves and then keep moving, because there will be another Laws of Ice cast. After this, 2 tethers will appear on the 2 closest players to the boss and 1 stack marker on one of the healers. These tethers will do a giant AoE around the player who grabs them. This will happen 4 times. In addition, a player who soaks one of these tether AoEs will also get an ice vulnerability up debuff, which means that if you soak another of these you will die. Hence you need to swap them. Have the melees grab the tethers first and bring it to the side platforms away from the party, while the rest of the players resolve the stack on the middle platform in max melee range. After this, the 2 tanks grab the tethers from the melees to soak the next 3 hits, and the melees rejoin the people in the middle. Tanks can take the first hit just fine, then they will need to use their invulnerability to take the other 2 hits. After the first stack going off on the healer, it will travel to one of the tether players, so one of the melees. After the tanks grab the tether from the melees, the next stack will travel to one of the tanks, so the party is safe from any damage after the stack resolved on the melee. The tanks will use their invul anyway, so yeah, they will be safe. Make sure to mitigate the next World Shatter AoE. After this, based on her HP, she will do a couple side cleaves and some AoEs, and then start casting the ENRAGE Authority Eternal. You need to bring the boss's HP down to 0.1% by the end of this cast, otherwise you will wipe. If you're successful, you will see phase 2. The main mechanic here is Radical Shift. 2 of 3 possible platforms will appear on the right and the left side of the arena. So it can be the green X from the wind phase, the yellow double platforms from the gravity phase, and the blue triple platform from the ice phase. The red mist behind Sphene will rotate clockwise or counterclockwise, indicating which platform will be shifted under you. If it's clockwise, the right platform will be shifted. If it's counterclockwise, the left platform will be shifted. Make sure to find the borders of said platform under you and stand on it. Watch the ground and watch your feet. In addition, every player will get a spread marker, and after the shift happens, everyone will be flung into the air. After you land, you need to quickly spread to not overlap. You have some time to adjust, but make sure that you are quick. There is also a diagram for static spread positions where you actually do not have to move for any shifting platform. You just stand there for the entire mechanic and YOLO. Sometimes parties, instead of the Coronation markers, will use these static spread position markers. And just a heads up, both the Radical Shift AoE and the spreads do pretty heavy damage. This Radical Shift will happen twice, and then she will cast a World Shatter AoE into Dimensional Distortion. Exoflares will appear on the north side of the platform, so make sure you dodge into the first set, because if you get hit, you will get a vulnerability up debuff. After this, she will destroy half the platform, so everybody will need to retreat to the back of the arena, while also having to deal with 2 tank towers. After this, she will headbang the arena a couple times, doing heavy physical damage. Once this is over, she will do a line stack a couple times, then she will finish it off with a smaller line stack. She will do Radical Shift twice again, and then she will cast a World Shatter AoE into ENRAGE. By the way, melee LB3 does about 6% of the boss's HP in this phase, so you can use that if you're struggling with the DPS. That's pretty much it. All the diagrams used in this video can be found on the link below. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you like this content, give me a thumbs up and throw me a follow if you haven't already, and if you want to see more content like this. Peace!